This is the criminal child support abandonment calendar. Notice I said criminal calendar. I'm Judge Jason, presiding over the calendar this morning. This is the child support abandonment calendar. I have to go over some basic information about the calendar. So when I say abandonment, particularly for the fathers, I'm letting you know that doesn't mean love abandonment. It really means just that you have an order of child support, or you're supposed to, and you fail to pay child support within 30 days or more. And because you failed to pay child support, the Georgia law says that you have financially abandoned your child. It doesn't mean you don't do something for the child or that you buy gifts now and then. You have to comply with the child support order. Now, what I like to share with people is that there's a lot of tension in these hearings. The parties really are, kind of emotionally separated. Moms don't speak to dads. Dads don't speak to moms, which is so sad for me that I've been doing this for years and people can't get past their differences for their children. But I can't navigate that. A lot of people do eventually say, okay, let me put all these differences aside for our child. But a lot of people just can't. So what we're not going to have here is anybody being disrespectful to the other party. I will not accept it. You will not overtalk or unmute yourself. Please keep yourself muted until I ask you to speak. You brought your matter to this court. It's my decision as a judge to decide if a criminal warrant should be issued. Now, dads, let me talk to you. Generally, child support is I always like to say, look at yourself when you were a child, okay? If you had a single mom raising you, which most of the cases today are moms are the primary, not always, but moms are the primary parent raising the child in their household. And if you were a child and you had a father that wasn't contributing, because the law presumes that it's in the best interest of a child to live a lifestyle as though mom and dad were together. So just my experience over the years, moms kind of got their stuff. They have other children or they're providing the household, but you're still supposed to contribute for your child to let that child go to school activities, after school things of that nature. It's expensive. We all know to raise children, and your financial contribution is not to the mom, it's to the child. So that's what you're supposed to be doing. And that's what the law presumes. Now, on the flip side, the law also makes an assumption that it's in the best interest of a child to be in a relationship with both their mothers and their fathers. And so what happens in this court, unfortunately, which is always disheartening for me, is the parents are just so divided that they can't get beyond their differences. And then they have an innocent child stuck in the middle, because the child, if you sat down and you asked that child, 90%, 95% of every child will say, I miss my daddy. I miss my mommy. They want both of you to be in their lives. But because of the differences, well, you're not paying child. You shouldn't be withholding a child from a parent necessarily for any reason, unless that parent's abusive, not to you, but to the child. If there's been things going on to you, of course, too. I'm saying that in a very liberal sense, meaning if you guys don't get along and there's nothing, serious or concern for safety of the child, then as a judge, I always encourage people to try to have open dialogue. Yeah, I can say that beatbox all day long, but people aren't going to listen to me because everybody believes they're right in their stance and their position. Like, she doesn't understand my story. I understand. I've been doing this for 20 years. Trust me, I've seen the stories. And the end of the stories is, after going through this process for 6 months, people do say, okay, he's going to, Dad, you got to step up and pay your child support. Generally speaking, if you step up and you pay your child support, then tensions come down a little bit and then the doors open. Now, you have the right to have visitation with your child without mom's permission. You can legitimate your child. It's not a legitimization. It's called a petition to legitimate your minor child. You don't have to have an attorney. This is not a family law court. I can't legislate whether you get to see your child or not. If you're not and you want to, then you could petition the court. It's all you have to do is pay the filing fees, and the courts are going to give you exclusive visitation with your child. Now, if you do that, all I ask you to do is please honor it for the sake of the child. I always ask you to put yourselves in the shoes of that child. If you all of a sudden start visiting them and then you just pull back and you stop, don't do it if you're not going to step up and stick with it, because that hurts the child more. And you guys see what's going on in our society today. All these young kids getting involved in 12 and 13 gangs and all sorts of things. And each parent thinks, well, not my child. Okay, well, that's what happens sometimes when there's no father figure in the house. And so dads need to step up. So this is kind of me just encouraging people while you're in my court to just think about how to be better parents to your child, both of you. But again, that's not this court today. It's just something I share and encourage people to try to think about. And so we have with us Ms. Carson this morning. Ms. Carson is the attorney for DCSS, and so her child support. She's going to be navigating us through the hearings, providing any information. I also wanted to tell you that that the arrearage, the mothers have to live in DeKalb County with the minor child. So if anybody here does not live in DeKalb County, mothers with your child, you can't, please don't post anything right now. You guys don't send any messages to me, please. Everybody's going to have the right to have a hearing. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Jones, appreciate you sharing, but I need you to just wait, not share anything. We're going to have a hearing for each of your cases. You have an arrearage amount, a past due amount. I can't handle that today. That's a civil matter. What that means is that if you want a judge to find that they have the ability to pay that past due amount and they're not paying it, then you can file a contempt proceeding. I don't do anything. All I'm looking at is how do we move forward? How do we get child support on track? How do we go forward with what needs to be done as receiving consistent child support? Okay. My number one pet peeve as a judge is anybody providing any negative commentary toward another person. This is not a civil trial. I don't want anybody saying anything negative about anybody. This case should actually be before Judge Scott. She's already heard this case. She already issued a warrant. It says September 1st, 2023. Let me pull up. Let's see. Do you show that a warrant's been issued already on this case?
Which case, Judge?
Position 1. The notes say that Judge, unless I read the wrong.
Holloway and Holt?
Yes.
Let me check. Hold on,
Okay. Let's see. He was kind of paying, even though there's sporadic payments.
Judge, I just found something, my notes from July. Let's see. Research today in DeKalb Abandonment, both parents present. NCP says he has $473 to pay at the end of the day when off work, which
yeah, I'm looking at that.
Good,
both parties present must pay. Holt will come in to sign the warrant.
Judge issuing warrant and will hold payment comes in. So looks like he did pay that. He paid $400 that day. Yeah.
I do see where a warrant was issued in this case too, Judge. I'm trying to figure out how I got back on this calendar. Let me check with me.
According to my notes, it wasn't supposed to go if he made that payment, and he did make that payment.
Yeah, no, we have notes additional after that you may not have that shows she issued the warrant on September 1st, 2023.
Yeah, nobody made any notes on that. That was the first I found. Okay.
Yeah,
let me check with Miss Ford and see what's going on with this.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll come back to that case.
Okay, Judge.
Okay.
Trying to get him in fatherhood, but he doesn't show up for the fatherhood programs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this back on Judge Scott's calendar. Let her. Well, it looks like the warrant's already been issued. So, on our side, let's give her a moment.
Maybe Miss Holt is here, right? Maybe she knows.
Yeah, she signed it. Judge Scott already signed the warrant.
Yeah.
So, if he was making consistent payments or had an income deduction order, I could recall it. Because it looks like he's making payments every other month.
And not doing well communicating with us either.
Okay.
Yeah, and 1113 is a note in here that says she wanted to know if she could file an abandonment warrant. That was in November.
Issue.
Yes. I'm sorry, Ms. Starks.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge. I'm talking to Miss Ford now. She's checking the warrants to see if anything went over to warrants this, because we're trying to figure out whether it was when you were out and Judge Scott took over your case or what happened with this.
No, it was always her case.
It was always her case.
Yes, all the notes are from Judge Scott. So let's go ahead and bring. Well, I'll wait for you to get the information. Let's go ahead and go to position 2 while you guys are looking into that. Okay.
Position 2. Okay.
Let me hold on. Don't put him in. Let me open up their case first.
And he was holding up some signs before about, why are you doing this when it's supposed to be coming out of my paycheck? And I sent him some message letting him know that, he needs to be paying it himself until it comes out.
Yeah, I told him to stop that. I don't know why he kept doing it.
What the heck was that about?
I didn't see it, so we'll bring him in. Go ahead and bring both of those parties in.
Okay.
His driver's license was suspended too in May.
Okay. All right, and please do not unmute yourself, okay? So this is the abandonment warrant I have here. Miss Revels lives in DeKalb County with a minor child. The child is 5 years old. Mr. Jones, I have 2 addresses for you. We need to make sure we have the right address so we can make sure you receive all your court notices. Do you live in Lithonia or Decatur?
Lithonia, but my mail goes to Decatur at my grandmother's house.
At the Midway Road?
Yes, my important.
Okay,
area.
we'll make a note that that's the address and we have your phone number. Okay, you can go ahead and mute. So, all right. So in this case, give me one moment to pull up my records here. Miss Carson, I don't have the amount on here, the dad's or for the anybody, but how much is dad supposed to be paying per month?
It looks like 405 plus 30 arrears, 2,500 in arrears.
Okay, so the arrears is not too bad considering what I see in most cases. You have a past due amount of 2455. Mr. Jones, that in turn, I think because of that, they actually suspended your driver's license in May. Just so you know, your driver's license is suspended. So you're really going to have to get on track to reinstate it. So in this case, it shows that the last 3 payments, July 19th, you paid 129.18. Then September, you paid 195.68. And then you paid a lump sum of 1,007 on November 17th. And then there have been no payments. The key to child support is there has to be payments every 30 days. So in essence, you're supposed to be paying $400 a month, would be $200 every other week. And then you'd be compliant with your child support. But I'm going to get some background history on you, Mr. Jones. You can go ahead and unmute for me, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. Let me ask you some questions first. Okay. So are you currently employed, Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we do have that an income deduction order was submitted, that you did go to child support, and that they did submit an income deduction order, but the income deduction order takes about 6 weeks to start. So until the income deduction, I don't know why dads think this, but just because it's been submitted, it's not effective yet. So until it comes out of your paycheck, you have to pay it directly. And once you see it coming out of your paycheck, then you can stop your automatic payments. So are you newly employed, or is this?
Yes, ma'am. I've been here about 3 months, and with that, the 405, it went down. It went down because I don't work there anymore, and I just called Miss Webb from. She works in the child support building. I can give you her number, but she had me at 245, paying 245 a month and $30 in the rear. I literally just called last month and set it up for them to take $61.25 out a week out of
Okay,
each
well,
check.
it sounds like you're saying somebody gave you a child support reduction, and generally that would be in the records. Hold on a second, Mr. Jones. So
Yes,
who are
ma'am.
you saying you spoke to?
Miss Webb.
Miss Webb.
Yes,
And where is, do you know where she works? Because
off Miller Road,
okay.
in Lithonia.
So Miss Carson, do you guys have a Miss Webb at the office?
New agents could be there, but it's impossible. What he's saying is impossible. Nobody can just tell him to pay less. It would go through a modification.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
She told me I only paid $245 a month. The 405 was from my old job, and I went to court January 1st, in January. I got on child support.
Wait. January of this year?
No, last year.
Okay.
245. They did they bumped it up to 405.
Okay.
It had
okay. So we're
made the system.
Okay. So
the 405.
Yeah. Okay. So the 405 is evidently what the final order is. So that's what you'll have to pay. So do you have any other children or any other open child support cases?
No, ma'am. And my thing is, I don't even make that amount anymore.
I know.
So,
I listen.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not an easy situation. I get it, but it does take, it's a judge ruled you can file a modification after 3 years, but it's what I have before the court. I don't issue warrants as long as you substantially comply. You're probably going to have to get a second job, just to be honest with you, because you've got to pay that $400, which is like $100 a week. Once it comes out of your paycheck, if you're working full time, it's going to take out the maximum that the law allows, but you have to be consistent with your payments. So in this case, what I do is I order you to pay the weekly payments until they come out of your paycheck. And so it looks like it's going to take about 6 weeks to come out of your paycheck. And so your weekly payment, because you did make a lump sum payment your first time appearing before me, your weekly payment would, of course, would be $100 a week. So if you get paid weekly, all you have to do is go and pay that every week, because if you don't, because it's been 3 months, I can only give you a short window to get back on track and start paying voluntarily. So for example, if you get paid today, Do you know how to pay on your phone?
No, ma'am. I just go to the office.
Well, you don't need to, you could set up an account on your phone and do it.
I'm not computer savvy, and I
Okay.
just like going to the kiosk, straight to the child support place. And
Okay. Okay. So what I have to do as a judge is have you start paying that payment voluntarily. We're getting the income deduction order is excellent because that reinstates your license. Is his license suspended, Ms. Carson?
Yes, I'm 528, and it looks
Oh,
like what he's
that's right.
talking about was a temporary order that was 245, beginning January
Of last year.
23. But
Yes.
then they
So, but
did a
now
final
he has
order.
now he has an income deduction order that's being processed. So will they reinstate his license, or what is the process for that?
Well, it appears that he did not go in to organize that. It appears that they just found that job and sent it in. If he would have gone in and told them that he had that job, they would have unsuspended his license.
I literally just told her that last month. I was on a call. I just started the job, so I couldn't go down there and tell her.
Yeah.
All I know, Miss Webb told me it was 245 a month. She never said anything about my license.
Okay,
or-
hold on, Mr.
I
Mr.
think
Jones.
probably he spoke with her before the final order was entered, and the final order was not for 245.
Okay, so understand, Mr. Jones, you do have to pay 100 a week. Your license is suspended. Can he go and speak to them now, Ms. Carson? Because he's working.
Yeah.
We don't want him to lose his job without a
Right,
license.
to do that right now.
Okay, so does he go back to Miller Road? Don't drive, Mr. Jones. It looks like you're at work today. Are you at work?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay, so as soon you can give them a call, just give them a call, and they'll show the number to call.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, you
No,
want to
ma'am.
give can we give him the number to call? Ms. Carson, do you have it? I don't have it.
I don't. It'll be on the pleading, though. I can probably find that quickly.
Okay. And Ms. Stark, let's make sure that we have that number going forward too, because I don't know it anymore. But Mr. Jones, you have to make when do you get paid, Mr. Jones?
Actually today.
Okay. So I'll need you well, you go in person, so I don't know when do you get off work?
I don't get off the 7th, so I can't pay it until
Okay.
Monday.
So next week I'm gonna expect you to make the payment. Okay. I'm looking at substantial compliance with the $400. You thought it was lower. I understand that, but it's not. So you need to go in person next week, and every week until we come back, I need to see those weekly payments. Once you see it coming out of your paycheck, and it may not be the full amount, but that's okay. As long as it's coming out of your paycheck, that's all that I'm looking for, because I won't issue a warrant, and you need to get your license reinstated so you're not arrested for driving on a suspended license. So call child support today. Go in by, you'll have to make your payments every Monday or Tuesday. Make sure your payments are made. And then what I do is I see if you're complying and getting back on track. They did submit the income deduction order to your employer. Should be kicking in pretty soon, right, Ms. Carson? That was December 8th.
Yeah, it'll be at least another month.
So, Mr. Jones, what you have to do is pay the payments voluntarily so I don't issue a warrant until the income deduction order kicks in.
Yes,
You understand the process? So you have to pay it directly to child support. And then once the income deduction order starts, then you can stop paying it directly, okay?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so you need to get your license reinstated. I'm glad you have a job. That gives me an opportunity not to go forward with a warrant today. We just need to start getting those payments posted. Even if you've been working, you should have just been posting payments. If you have a credit card, you can pay it on credit card temporarily and then pay your credit card when you get it in. I know it's easy for me to say that. It's not easy for everybody, but sometimes you have a family member that may say, okay, I'll allow you to use my credit card for the payment, then you just pay them back if you need to, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's easy for me to say all that, but I do have to encourage you, just give you some options. All right. So,
Okay.
and
So
have you,
I sent him I sent him the number, and I sent the starts the number.
okay, good. All right. I'm going to mute you for a moment, Mr. Jones. All right, Ms. Rebels. I don't know that you have any questions about the process, but I don't need to. We're going to move forward on the case. I'm not going to address any back banter, just moving forward to see if we can get on track. So you can unmute Ms. Rebels if there's anything that you need to, any questions you have about the process. He is working. We have an income deduction order. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ms. Rebels?
No.
Okay. And as a side note, Mr. Jones, are you, you can unmute for me. I'm going to mute you for a minute, Ms. Rebels. I just like to know, because sometimes this is what leads to these cases. Have you, I'm trying to mute Ms. Rebels. It's not letting me mute her. Mr. Jones, are no negative talk about, oh, she won't let me. Just have you legitimated your son, or do you
Yes.
have a relationship? You have.
Yes. I'm just waiting on visitation days, but it seemed like since I put it in, they ain't called me back and gave me no visitation days. So
Okay, well, you have to follow up with the court, ask them to put a hearing. You follow the paperwork?
yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
we did mediation too. They
Oh.
just still ain't gave me a date.
Oh, you resolved the case in mediation?
I have no idea. She
No, it
said
looks like
she
you
was
didn't.
gonna give me visitation days, but I'm literally just waiting on paperwork.
Okay, so it looks like you guys did not resolve your case in mediation. So you have to call the court and ask the, like, whatever judge is assigned to your case, you have to call that court and ask them to give you a hearing, because she's saying, Mama's saying you guys did not agree. I'm going to tell you, it's so easy. Whatever the mediator agreed to, that's what the judge is going to give them, because it's just a standard visitation every other weekend, every other Thanksgiving, every other Christmas, 2 to 4 weeks during the summer. It's just standard. So I'm not sure what you guys aren't agreeing on, but if you did not agree at mediation, then you need to go ahead and file, you need to call the court, Mr. Jones, that you're assigned to. And then on that, you call the Superior Court if it's in DeKalb County, and then they'll put you with the clerk. And once you go to the clerk, you need to ask them if they could have a hearing scheduled for your petition to legitimate your child. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And how much I am in the rear?
$22,455.96. All right. So let me get a reset date for this case to get caught up on. Let's see. All right. So Mr. Jones, I just want to make sure you understand, you have to call child support immediately to try to let them know you have a job, and it's going to be coming out of your paycheck. It's already been submitted, but I need you to make sure you understand next week you need to go in and make it a payment, and you need to make a weekly payment until we come back to court. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will reset this case to, let's see, I need 6 weeks. So it's going to have to be in March. And if you're not making the payments when we come back, voluntary payments and or the income deduction order hasn't taken place, and we'll consider issuing the warrant. Okay, so March 22nd. I think I may skip the 22nd.
Okay.
And do the 29th, since we have the 29th, because that's my birthday weekend and I may be traveling. So let's do the 29th as my resets for March. All right, Mr. Jones, I'm looking for, let me put my notes in here to make sure. I'm sorry. Is there something you needed to share with me?
The 29th would be Judge Scott's week.
No, she just does first and third. She doesn't do the fifth. The fifth.
Oh, yeah, fifth. That is a fifth. I'm sorry.
It is a fifth. Yes, yes. So let's put mine on the 29th just for that month, just in case I travel.
Okay.
Let me just put my docket notes in here. Hold on one second. This is Miss Revels and Mr. Jones docket notes. Okay. I'm going to put income deduction order has been submitted. Dad shall pay weekly to child support office until the income deduction order has taken effect.
And you say I can't get it deducted until I can't lower my payments.
Oh yeah, you have to yeah, it depends. It depends. It's like you have to talk to the child support agent. She'll let you know when you can seek a modification if you qualify for it. Dad needs to reinstate.
Yeah, because I'm making under maybe like $600-700 lesser than I was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Jones. Almost every dad on child support has to get a second job. I'm just gonna be honest. If you can't make it out of your paycheck, you gotta find something on the side, because if not, I have to. The law requires that you provide that. Hold on, nope, stop. See, you immediately just unmuted yourself when I told you not to do that. You could raise your hand and I'll let you speak, but I asked everybody do not unmute themselves. Okay, so hold on a second, because I'm typing my notes in the case. Dad needs to reinstate his license. I told you that was my pet peeve, people unmuting themselves without the authorization of the court. So just give me a moment. Dad needs to reinstate his license and continue payments. Reset. March 29th, 24. All right. Okay, Miss Rebels, you can unmute yourself now. Yes, go ahead, please.
I don't have nothing to say.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask you to unmute. Okay, Mr. Jones, I'm just being honest. You're going to have to get 2 jobs. Most moms work 2 jobs. So I can't have a dad saying, well, I can't work 2 jobs. Yeah, you're going to have to if you can't afford the child support. So that's it. We'll see you guys. The case is reset to March 29th. Hopefully there's an income deduction order in place and the weekly payments, Mr. Jones. And Mr. Jones, please be aware, where did you go? Come back and screen. This is a criminal case, okay? So I don't want to have to issue the warrant, okay? Just make sure you start making your payments next week. All right, you guys, that's it. And call the court and check on your legitimation case. You guys are both excused from court. Have a good day.
All right.
Judge, I did find out what happened with case number 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was an error by a clerk in the office, not being familiar with these cases, putting it back on the calendar. But that person was arrested for that that warrant and should not have been placed back on the calendar.
Okay, he was already arrested?
He was from looking at this, I had Miss Ford to check, and she says that Odyssey shows that he was already arrested. So, or he turned himself in.
Okay, let's pull up the case then.
Okay.
All right. So in this case on Miss Holt and Mr. Holloway, Mr. Holloway had a child support order, and it looks like there was a payment made in May, July. This should have been before Judge Scott. She was handling this case. But Mr. Holloway, if you could unmute for me, please. It looks like you turned yourself in or you were already arrested on this charge. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Ms. Holt, you cannot file this case with our court anymore. It's already been turned over to state court. He's been arrested. You can't file with magistrate court. It's a state court action now. So please don't file any more criminal abandonment warrants. It's already been transferred. A warrant's been issued. So you have to just wait for state court because the misdemeanor cases are handled by state court. And since she issued the warrant, you have to go to state court, find out where your case is, who the judge is, and they're going to handle everything there. But Mr. Holloway is already under the jurisdiction of a state court, so you cannot file additional abandonment warrants. Okay. So you'll have to go through state court in DeKalb County and find out which judge is handling your case, and just ask make sure the clerk has your information to keep you up to date on the abandonment warrant. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. You guys have a good day. Okay, Mr. Holloway, you'll just be in state court. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. But start paying as soon as you can so that state court would consider, a different outcome, because it would be a misdemeanor conviction and you'd be on probation until your child is 18. And I'm sure you don't want that. So start getting consistent on your payments if you can. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You guys are excused from court. Have a good day. Oh, wait, I didn't see. He shouldn't even be here. It looks like he's got an income deduction order. What's his monthly amount on Mr. Minor?
1,093. 29.
How much is he supposed to be paying?
$1,093.29.
Wow. Let me see how many children they have. Let's see. He must be making some good money, huh? Let's see. Oh, they have 3 children. That's why it's so high. What does he do? Oh, he works for the post office. So there's an income deduction order in place. All right, we can bring the parties in, please. We have, in this case, you all have 3 children through a divorce decree. There's a child support order of approximately $1,000. And let's see, at present time, mom filed the child support abandonment calendar. And then, case, I'm sorry, we have it on the calendar. It says dad only has an arrearage of $1,174.79. There's an income deduction order taking the money out twice a month. I'm not even sure. So at the time she filed, though, there was no arrearage. And so, there was a payment that you hadn't paid. So I don't know what happened. But at this point, Mr. Minor, if you could unmute for me, please. You need to unmute, Mr. Minor.
Hello?
So, Mr. Minor, you're currently, was there a time where you didn't receive a paycheck or something, or what happened in November that put you down a month?
No, I tried to send some payments to Miss Minor one time, and she rejected it. So I don't know what was going on with that. So,
well, but now it's coming out of your paycheck. What changed?
Yeah, it's coming out my pay. It's coming out my paycheck now.
Yeah, but never send mom money directly because you won't get any credit for it. Never.
Well, I sent it directly because she had said something to the judge, and I tried to send her the money, but when I sent it, I got it back, and it said it had been rejected. But she told the judge that it didn't. I guess he didn't send it, but I did try to send it, but she just rejected it. So I don't know, like, I
Okay, it
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. It doesn't matter. Right now, you're in good standing. Miss Carson, could you explain to me what's going on with, like, it looks like he really has only one plus month past due, and there's an income deduction order. Did it just take effect as soon as we? Did you just start, Mr. Minor, with the post office?
No, I've been working for the post office, ma'am.
Okay.
Me and her we was working together. Oh, I have a question too. I kept getting these letters in the mail from the Division of Child Support talking about order of dismissal. I don't know what that means, and it had all three of my children's names on it. I got like 3 letters from child support, so I don't know what that is, but
Hold on. Put it back
it
up.
was
Put it back
it
up
was
so
a
we can see it.
it was around the same time where the child support was supposed to be sent to my ex, and I kept getting these letters. I don't know what this means, but it say order of dismissal, and it has all 3 of my kids' names at the top.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on one second.
it was looks like they set an OSA hearing for something
Oh, okay.
administrative
Maybe.
at the top, and
All
then
right.
they just missed it.
All right. So is his driver's license in good standing, and we have an income deduction order?
Right. There's no
All right.
problem.
All right. So, sir, you know what the law, you're good. Don't worry about that. That was another child support hearing. You're good. So just want to
Oh,
let you know, I don't know what happened. What I'm trying to get from you is what happened. You've been working there. You don't have, it looks like you missed 2 payments. Do you know what happened? That they didn't come directly out of your paycheck?
I don't know. I was informed that everything was gonna be taken out of my paycheck, but I don't know. I just whatever the child support people said to me, they said it was gonna take the money out.
Okay.
I was waiting for them to take it out. They just I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't
Okay.
know.
So you were paying voluntarily, and then somehow you started paying through an income deduction order. Is that what happened?
I'm guessing that's what happened.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put you on mute. Okay. Miss Minor, please don't unmute yourself without the court's permission, okay? But you're good. I'm getting ready to speak to you now, so you can go ahead and unmute. So you filed at the time because you didn't receive, I guess, 2 payments. I'm not sure. Give me one moment, Miss Minor. Miss Carson, what were the payments before December 8th?
There weren't any.
Okay. So I guess it must have been paying no payments at all.
Nothing.
I think
We don't
this
have
is one.
anything.
I think this is one of the cases where mom filed and there was no child support case open at the time, that she just recently opened the child support case.
Right. And
That's what's going on. Okay.
it went to Fulton, and then it came back to DeKalb, but it wasn't sufficient. It went back to Fulton. So probably a lot of
Okay.
administrative stuff.
All right. So really, at this point, the case is dismissed, Miss Minor, because you're receiving the money directly from his employer. So I can't go forward with the case, and he is compliant. Then you just want to clear out that 1,100 when you can, Mr. Minor. If you have extra couple hundred here or there to pay, just go ahead and pay it. Miss Minor, is there anything that we have not already addressed, or do you have any questions?
Well, yeah, I do have a question because of the payments that he's referring to back in November. There was also an order from the divorce judge back in July where I had to speak to her to try to do an emergency hearing to let her know he had not paid anything. Their order was put in September. He was supposed to pay me the money, the $600. He stated that I rejected it, and I wouldn't reject the payment if he had not paid anything in almost 6 months. So he owes that money as well prior to the November payment.
Okay, so Miss Meyer, I was trying to share with you. It shows that he owes $1,174.79. You just opened the case, so that's for you and child support. You can go back and say if he owes more, but that's all I'm showing. I'm still not issuing a warrant. The past due amount, child support will have him pay a little bit extra until that arrearage is paid off. But that's what I'm showing. So, Mr. Minor, if you didn't pay child support in 4 to 6 months directly to her, but you're saying it was returned anyway. Now it's in child support. Now I have proof of what's been paid and what's not. It's coming out of your paycheck. So, Miss Minor, I can't issue a warrant. You'll have to address child support for the past due amount. I know you need it probably for 3 children, but this is a criminal proceeding. So, Mr. Minor, if you have the ability to pay something extra toward the past due amount to help your kids, that would be great. And that's it. So I'm making an assumption that the 2 of you don't communicate with regard to the relationship with your kids. Miss Minor, is that correct?
Yes, there's no communication. He had abandoned his kids since February of last year and put in a fraudulent TPO to keep me from contacting him. So no, there's been no contact.
Okay. All right. That's too bad. All right. All right. Well, you guys are divorced for a reason, but Mr. Minor, I hope you reconsider, the bigger picture of your children. Even if you and mom don't get along, those babies are innocent, man. They don't deserve. Divorce for children is like death of a parent. You just have to understand the long-term impact on a child, even if he has Miss Minor. If Mr. Minor, you need to step up. If the court gave you visitation, it doesn't matter how mad you are at Miss Minor or how mad she is at you. You guys have to think about what are you going to do about those three beautiful children that you have and need both of you in their lives. As a judge, if I could tell the consequences of parents, children not seeing their mom and dad, put their differences aside, at least meeting, say, to exchange visitation, it's complete destruction for girls, for boys, for little kids. They're just children and they're innocent in all this. So, Mr. Minor, if you have visitation, you need to step up and visit your kids, because especially because you were born and your kids were born and raised in your household. If that's true that you're not seeing them, it's very disturbing to me as a judge. So, as a human being and as a mother, I think it's just, I hope you guys can, she's saying she has it. Now you're getting the support, Miss Minor. It's going to be continuing. And I hope dad figures out a way that you step up. And if the judge gave you visitation, those kids think, well, what did I do? Why does daddy hate me? It's just so sad. And if you're not visiting your kids, that's on you. But Miss Minor is coming out of his paycheck, so I can't issue a warrant, but you should be receiving your child support on a consistent basis. And you can feel free to file a contempt. But I think, Mr. Minor, I would have you call child support and ask them how to resolve that past due amount. Ms. Minor, if it's more than what's here because you just opened the case, there's an affidavit that you have to submit of what's past due. So if you haven't received child support for 6 months, Mr. Minor, what's going to happen is if she goes and proves she didn't receive the support for 4 to 6 months, whatever it is, it's going to elevate that amount. And once it gets higher, if it's generally over 60 days, I think past due, or 30 days, child support may revoke your license. So what's important is you go talk to child support in advance. But mom, you're only showing 1174, so you're going to have to correct that if it's different. But right now, you're in good standing, Mr. Minor. And so with that being said, yes, you go ahead and unmute Miss Minor.
I have another question, because he's also responsible for their dental and vision. And right now, my daughter just recently got braces, and they're trying to figure out how they can get his name on the account so that he can start paying through his insurance. I have no way.
I don't. Hold on. Yeah, I don't. This is a criminal court, but sir, are your kids? I mean, do you have the card? You can unmute Mr. Minor. And you should have. Federal.
No. They're on my dental and vision. It's coming out my paycheck every 2 weeks. Every time I get paid, so they're already on there. All of their names are on there.
Did you give the mom the information for the insurance?
I don't have no way to contact her. She don't block me out from everything. So I can't even contact my kids. I don't have no numbers, no way to contact none of them. So like, I'm paying the child support, but I still don't got no way to contact them. I don't have anybody number, anybody contact information. I don't have any of that. None of that at all.
Miss Minor, how do you want him to get the information to you if he's not allowed to have contact with you?
My information is the same. There had been communication through the divorce judge through our email address where we received a divorce decree where we were able to receive messages. So he's able to communicate. That's how he knew he had.
Okay, so Mr. Minor, you can email the information to her, please, because she can't know that what the dental insurance company is or who the provider is unless you give it to her. Is that the same with medical, Miss Minor, or you already have the medical covered?
Yes, it's the same with medical as well.
Okay, so you need to send the insurance you have, Mr. Minor. I'm putting that as an order. You need to send her the medical and dental provider, insurance provider, so she can provide. Come on now, this doesn't make any sense. You guys went through a divorce and you don't have, Miss Minor doesn't have the insurance information for 3 kids. Oh, come on, that's not acceptable. So Mr. Minor, you said you didn't know. So I am ordering you today to email that information to Miss Minor at her email so that your children can have proper dental and medical care. All right, Mr. Minor?
Okay.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. I hope things get better over time with the two of you. Okay, you guys are both excused. Miss Minor, is there anything else?
No, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Case is
you.
dismissed. She put DeKalb Fulton. I don't know what that means of where he lives. Get back to the other screen.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, so she's received
Oh,
nothing
she
in
put
3
two
years.
different addresses.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. Hold on a second. Daughter's 15.
Your Honor,
Okay.
he attended the fatherhood program on 12/5, says he's unemployed, looking for a job.
Hi, Miss McBride. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so let me look at your case here. You have, how much is the child support, Miss Carson, monthly?
It is $217 plus $43 on arrears, $1,300 in arrears.
Okay, so Miss McBride, in this case, it looks like you have not received child support since 2021. You have a 15-year-old daughter that lives with you in DeKalb. Mr. Thompson's supposed to pay $217 plus $43 a month toward the repay. And nothing has been paid on our records unless he's been paying you directly since 2021. Miss McBride, just why are you just now filing the abandonment? Have you filed one before?
I filed one before, I want to say in 2018 or 2017. And that's
Okay.
when we were actually still going, no, or 2019. And at the time he wasn't working, but I want to say he started paying. I got a big lump sum payment when he got into a car accident.
Okay.
And before then, I wasn't getting any child support. So before that lump
Okay.
sum payment, since she was 2, he's been on child support since she was 2, and I didn't receive anything.
So when did you receive the lump sum payment?
I've received that in 2019.
Okay, all right, and that's probably why it's reduced the child support somewhat. Miss Carson, you look puzzled. Go ahead.
Because I misspoke. I went to the next case. That was the Rhodes case, but you were on the final
Oh,
case. So
yes.
for him, they found a job for him in July. They sent an FIW. No payments came in, and the driver's license was suspended.
Oh, okay. So his license suspended, ma'am. Do you know what's going on with him, or?
So according to his mother, he's no longer working. And is no type of form of contact. My daughter has her own phone. He doesn't call her. I don't have any type of communication with him. And it's very sporadic. The last time that I did speak to him was in August of this year. He bought her a pair of shoes for school.
Oh.
But other than that, I haven't had any type of communication with him.
All right. Ms. Starks, can you see the last time, see if if you could locate a case number by any chance so I could look at the previous case notes? Kind of remember, I don't know if was I the judge on your case, Ms. McBride?
To be honest, I can't remember.
Okay. I pretty much looked the same. I think I still had the same look, but there's another judge as well. So we'll look and see which judge handled that case if we could find the case number on it.
Okay, Judge, I'm looking it up now.
All right, just so I could look at what happened. All right, so while she's looking up the case, that's what I'm saying. Like since 2019, the last time you received a payment, why did you wait to file so long?
Just giving him chances to see if he's gonna turn an eye and do right for his child. But clearly, he didn't even show up here today. So
yeah, and the addresses that you gave him, and that you gave us for him. You gave us 2 addresses. Why is that?
One is the one that his whole family uses. That's his auntie address. And then the Wesley Chapel address is his mother's address.
Oh,
he stays in and out of her house.
Do you know, have you heard from either one of them that he knows about the court date?
He knows, yes.
Okay, so what happens with this kind of situation is that if I choose to issue a warrant, which I likely am going to because you've received nothing except that 2019 lump sum payment, they're going to go to one address to arrest him when they sweep, and they usually do that. You know, sometimes they'll just go sweep of everybody. And I, as a judge, have heard horror stories about the sheriff. Well, not horror stories, but stories that, you know, banging on the door in the middle of the night, you know, upsetting his mother if he doesn't live there, or his aunt. So we've got to get a physical address where he lives.
So
Which
it
is-
would be I'm sorry, it would be the Wesley Chapel address. That's his mother address. He would stay with her for months, and she'll kick him out for like a week. He ain't got nowhere else to go, so he'll end up going to. The last time I spoke to his mother, he was there.
Okay, so we'll make a note that the Wesley Chapel address is the proper address. All right, so what's up with Mr. Thompson? Just doesn't like to work, or
He don't care. He just don't care, and I hate to say it like that. He just don't care.
Yeah. Wow. All right. All right, and we're confirming, Ms. Carson, that no payments have been received, and they're still in arrearage. Do you guys reflect that lump sum amount that she received?
Probably, but they don't go back for more than the last 3 payments, but I can take a look and see. Tax intercept in July of 2020. Oh yeah, okay. We got a huge payment in October 2019, $24,000.
Wow. Wow.
But everything
wow,
else has
wow.
been a couple of job things, but mostly unemployment.
It looks like why did she it doesn't show here why it was dismissed. Let's see, returned hearing notice. I guess because the notices were returned. All right, and we've tried to call him. And the number you gave us, are you sure that that's his correct contact information?
If you give me 1 second, I can look.
Okay, we'll just ask the last 4 digits.
This is 8284.
Ms. Starks, is that the number you called?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Well, there's no need to give him another opportunity. This is the second time. I find you to be credible. You did share with us that you received that lump sum, but you know, Miss McBride is just, you know, it's one of those cases where you just keep doing mommy and mom and dad all in wearing one hat. Cause I honestly, I don't know that you're ever going to get anything more from him.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that you were able to get a lump sum, but I'll issue the warrant. You're going to have to go into court on Memorial Drive. You signed the application, and then they'll let me know you signed it, and then I'll issue the warrant. And it's gonna go to state court though, so you can't file with us anymore because now I'm officially transferring it to a higher court, so you can't file an abandonment warrant. It stays in state court now. Okay.
I do have a quick question. So I travel for work, right?
Okay.
So I won't be back in Georgia till probably April because I do travel nursing.
Okay.
So do I wait until then, or
yes,
Okay.
whatever's good for you.
Excuse me, did you already come into the office to sign the warrant application?
Yes, ma'am, I
Okay,
did.
if she's done that, it's already signed.
Oh,
She doesn't have
okay.
to come back in.
Okay. Failed to appear. No notice returned as far as we know. Clerk called father, no answer, and one time a person answered and hung up the phone. You'll go to find out how to access the state court proceedings. It's under Odyssey, and then you can just kind of keep track. He's not arrested yet, so you have to just wait until you receive. Hopefully they'll send you notice or contact you and let you know that they've actually arrested him.
Okay.
And then it's let me sign. So I'm signing the warrant now. Please don't go around telling anybody because then he'll know that a warrant's been issued, and
I won't.
just let it take its course. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Okay. You're welcome. Take care. And it's already been signed, so you don't have to come in. I just issued the warrant. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're excused. All right.